Buenos días. Suerte. Ok, gracias. Suerte. Buen día. Hey, good morning, my friends, and welcome to Surfside, California, this beautiful Memorial Day weekend here in the United States of America. I think it's worth thinking about how all of this would not be possible, our fishing, any freedoms we experience, without the greatest sacrifice of all, our fallen heroes throughout the ages. And we honor all the men and women of our military who make the precious gift of freedom a reality for each and every one of us. I know I need to be reminded of that all the time. You think, hey, we've got, this weekend and we're going to barbecue and we're going to have fun, and we forget about the real meaning of today. And it's with a profound sense of gratitude that I extend my deepest prayers and blessings to the men and women of our armed forces. It really means a lot to us. Hey, speaking of that, there is a book out there called The Rifle, which I think you would really love to read. It's about World War II veterans and interviews with them before they passed on. Some of those guys are still alive, and it's a remarkable book. It's called The Rifle. And also, movie review, The Covenant. I just went and saw The Covenant. Great flick. I mean, to each his own, but I loved it. Great action, great story. Says a lot about how wonderful the men and women of our armed forces truly are. Great movie, The Covenant. Hope you get to see that really, really soon. All right, my friends, let's get into it with you. Hey, well, by the way, speaking of great veterans, Jeff Yeomans is one of those great veterans. 540 Slingers Club. He's got a great event coming up. You can see it right there. Make sure you check it out. Jeff, thank you for your service. You know that little Friedman Adventures plaque that I have on our desk at 22nd Street Landing? A great military guy, Joe Patino, made that for me. He's on the East Coast and sent it all the way from there. Joe, good morning to you. And there's just so many of you to mention, so I got back on that again. It's really super important, and we should always keep those guys in our heart. All right, let's get to, we got a lot to go over. I mean, we've got some bluefin tuna to talk about. We've got some awesome halibut fishing. How about pier thresher shark fishing? That's a remarkable thing, everybody. There's been a lot of that going on, some special moments on many of the boats. There's yellowtail up and down the coast, more kelp patty yellowtail starting to show up. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Did you notice I almost forgot to do that? My God. I probably should have hit that coffee before we got going this morning. It's a great day. Thanks for being here. Let's start in Ensenada. They are having a magnificent tournament down there. I mean, in terms of organization and fun down there. The Baja government is putting on several different tournaments down there in Baja California, Mexico. And they've had some decent bluefin tuna fishing. Now, I'm going to cover the bluefin bite and mention to you that it's been tough, and it remains that way. There are really some gorgeous fish, big trophy bluefin tuna, pushing 200 pounds, sometimes even bigger than that, but it's been few and far between. You're getting a shot at it, you need to bring your heavy tackle, but it's been pretty scattered out. I talked to several boats that were on the bluefin last night, and scattered fish, and the ones they get on, I'm talking about for the majority of the guys, just are uncooperative. They do not want to nibble. And it's been a long night for many of the boats. Some of the guys getting in on some pretty good fishing, but for the most part, it's been tough. Like a 350-gram lure has been working pretty well, but as heavy as 425 has also been super effective at times. Rip rollers have been good. Those Daiwa SK jigs. I know you have your favorite lure, and you can go with that, but just fish it with at least 100-pound, because there's a lot of trophy fish mixed in with some smaller grade fish. Also, Tribute, 2-day trip, 12 guys. Or they had 12 bluefin tuna, 80 to 150 pound stuff. Those day boats that are running out of San Diego right now, and I'm talking guys that leave in the morning, come back in the evening, they're getting a good sample of that big fish. There's a lot of heartbreaks. Few fish, really, really big. All right, keep that in your head. That's the story. Sea Watch, 3 bluefin, 140 to 180 pounds. That is remarkable. It truly is. The grade for a boat that leaves in the morning, comes back in the afternoon. That is fantastic. San Diego, 33 guys, 6 bluefin, 100 to 180 pound stuff. Grande, 34 guys, 2 big bluefin tuna. Really remarkable stuff. You see some photos from the tomahawk as they picked off some nice fish here recently. So there is big fish, just too far few of them, or too far uncooperative schools right now, and hopefully it's going to get rolling. I still think, and I've been saying this all year long, we're just off to a slower start due to that water temperature being so cool. It's dramatically cooler than it was last year, and once it warms up, and it will warm up, we're going to see some hellacious fishing. In the meantime, you have a chance to catch some truly trophy fish out of San Diego right now and down in northern Baja. So we will continue to watch that for you very, very, very closely. Hey, I do want to mention my friend Brian Wynn, because Brian will be at that casting 540 Slingers event, and Brian and I are working on several things. One thing though, for you old farts out there, you know, guys that are turning 65, you're going to go on Medicare. Brian Wynn, that's his thing. He will take you through the process. It's free. You can talk fishing and Medicare at the same time. He did it for me. And man, it was just so easy. So there is his information. Go to his website. You'll get his phone number and then give him a call. And you will not regret that for one single second. Still some kelp patty yellowtail running around San Diego and starting to move up into this neck of the woods. And I'm talking LA, Orange County based places. You can't see Catalina, perhaps you can, but it's back there in the haze, and there's a little bit of that kelp patty yellowtail showing up. In fact, there's more than a little bit showing up. There's quite a bit, but getting it to bite once again has really been a pain in the neck. It just doesn't want to nibble all that well, but a few of those. So you want to have some fluorocarbon, www.opsinusa.com, put in FA at checkout, and that will get you some kisses and hugs and a free gift from Greg Brown. Make sure you do that. And fishing those kelps, 25 pound. They're not big yellows. They're 5 to 10 pound fish for the most part. 20 pound even. Problem is, sometimes lurking on those kelps mixed with that forky are some big bluefin. And man, you hook one of those on 20 and you are done. So you got to be really careful. Make sure it's straight yellows and you'll do just fine. So the black fish, they are out of Davies Lock in Newport Beach. They had a 2-person charter, and they ended up with 9 of those smaller kelp patty yellowtail. But that's a good sign. Those yellows move in on the kelps, flood into the islands. We're already seeing some really good fishing on bigger yellows, which we'll talk about in a moment. And also, there is still squid around town. And that squid, of course, is the magnet that's been drawing all these predators, like some incredible halibut fishing that we'll talk to you about here in one moment. All right, so we're watching that kelp patty situation also for you very closely. Sport King was out. Catalina Island, 7 halibut, 3 yellowtail. Native Son had some fun out there yesterday. In fact, Marcos Garcia was on board the Native Son yesterday. He said they picked away at the fish. It was a beautiful day on the water because he was with his grandson. Once again, we love following his exploits. He had a sheep's head and blue perch and some other stuff to go along with that. On board the Fury, we were talking to the Fury out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing yesterday morning, and they had made a little bit of live squid. They turned that into some decent fishing with 3 yellows, 9 halibut. Paul Fanning was on board that trip, shows off his forky. Again, we are seeing some decent sign at Clemente. Hopefully that settles and bites, and I think it's water temp. I could be wrong. I think we're looking down the barrel of some great fishing. Our greatest fishing lies ahead right now, and it should kick into gear one of these times. Pursued with 5 yellows and a white sea bass. Not bad at all. On board the Freedom, fishing a little different area, but what a trip on board the Freedom. They are going tonight, no fuel surcharge. They have been walloping the halibut, and they had a shot of yellows. 25 halibut. Tremendous halibut fishing this year. Perhaps the best I have ever seen? I'd have to think about that. Maybe in all the years I've been on the face of this earth, this has got to be one of the most banner halibut seasons I have ever seen. It had 8 yellowtail to go along with it. No fuel surcharge going tonight. 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California. So you may want to take advantage of that. We have some even better halibut fishing we're going to tell you about here in just a moment. So mostly dropper loop fishing on those flatties. The torpedo sinker you use will depend on the depth you're fishing, wind and current. It's been a little breezy here lately, not here on the beach, but out a little ways have been a little breezy. So you want to have some 6, 8 ounce torpedoes, even 4 ounce. Sometimes you get in the shallows. You'll fish a small lead head. You want to have that also along with you in your arsenal. putting it into the local scene. We talked about some of those kelp patty yellowtails starting to move in, and we've talked a little bit about Catalina Island also. But here on our local scene, this water is cold, so we're not seeing any surface action at all. Although I got a sneaking suspicion some barracuda are going to show up in force here pretty darn soon with all this anchovy around. But mostly sculpin, rockfish, good fishing on all that. You're going home with some marvelous eating fish. Enterprise with great fishing. The local boats out of Dana, War Sport Fishing, San Diego, the Premier. Not skipping over anybody, but it's the same old for most guys. Sometimes you miss, but most of the time it's been good. Monte Carlo, 22nd Street Landing, we've seen it all. There are still some tanker white sea bass being taken to Catalina Island and elsewhere. The Lexi, wow, check that tanker out, a magnificent catch. Beautiful fish on board the Lexi. Dana War Sport Fishing, that is one gorgeous fish. How can you beat that? Some local guys are also focusing on the halibut. You can see some nice fish there on board the Spitfire. Our buddy Nick Ramirez, who's another fantastic person, was out there. Shows you a sand bass he caught. We're seeing some of that. Up to the Channel Islands, we'll take you now. Aloha Spirit with 18 guys, 10 halibut on board. But perhaps the greatest score of all was on board. And man, did they put the wood to it or what? And it was the Coral Sea, 41 halibut. Couldn't find it in my notes. 41 halibut on the Coral Sea up there out of Santa Barbara. Does it get any better than that? I don't think so. That is one heck of a catch. My hat's off to all of you who experienced that magnificent trip on the Coral Sea. They just got back from the Endeavor, and they had good rug fishing. I mean, the flatties are chewing right now. It's great fishing. A little breezy up there right now. That's making it a little bit more difficult. But man, what a flatty bite we are seeing right now. Island Fox, Stephen Hong, he caught that nice halibut. Nice going. Island Spirit, 3/4 day out of Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing. 9 halibut, a few nice lingcod, limits of rockfish. It's fantastic fishing. By the way, Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing, 805-676-3474. You definitely want to get out of there. The customer service is absolutely wonderful up there in that neck of the woods. Some really good fishing going on. Mirage, couple of yellowtail, 38 lingcod on the Mirage. So we are just seeing fantastic fishing up there. It just doesn't slow down. Once again, all those guys, Mirage, all those guys, really great customer service. It's really fantastic. Julian, Lucia, with some great thresher shark fishing, and you can see some of the fish they caught, but that doesn't say it all. They released nearly a dozen thresher sharks. Great fishing right now on the T-sharks. They're good eating, they're acrobatic, they fight hard. We're so blessed to have that species here in Southern California. And Scott Buchert, he's made it to Alaska, everybody. I've been talking to him every step of the way. Scott, of course, a deckhand here in Southern California, loved by so many, including yours truly. And Scott arrived to Anchorage, spent a night there, and now he is in Valdez, and he is on his commercial fishing vessel. Not quite ready to take off. I think they're going to take off in about 3 days, but I'll have some more on Scott and all of his exploits up there in the beautiful state of Alaska. All right, my friends, a lot going on. Our Apollo trip is going Wednesday night. I'll have a lot of details for you tomorrow or maybe later today. It looks like halibut, sea bass, good rockfish. You never know if that bluefin's going to act up. There's yellows in the mix. It should be a really wonderful trip. I can't wait to shoot you in that video, as that's going to be really fun. One more time again, happy Memorial Day. God bless the men and women who gave their ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy that and so much more. Without their gift, we don't have freedom, and we need those guys and gals every single day, even today. All right, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for spending some time with me on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend. Keep those guys and gals in mind, and have a great day today. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon.